welcome to the Play Some Video Games Overcast. This is not Kevin, this is not Donnie, this is Jason, and I'm joined tonight by Coach Mo and the one and only Q. That's right, we have part of the rotating cast taking over the feed. We're running the show tonight, and we're talking about Overwatch. Guys, let's do this. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, Jason. I am doing so good. I am doing so good, this demands me saying, Loborican! Done. There. My signature is on the podcast. Over.
I get goosebumps every time I hear that. Man, do I love that call sign.
Yeah,
I love it so
great.
much.
It's great. It puts fear in the heart of my enemies, and it puts courage in the heart of my allies. That's how I see it.
Well said. God, you and your words. You're so good with them.
He's a wordsmith, isn't he?
Rocks those words.
So on tonight's show, we are only talking about Overwatch. This is going to be a PSVG official podcast. I guess I want to say review of the game. For those that are living underneath a rock and haven't heard about Overwatch, it's a multiplayer first-person shooter developed and published by Blizzard Entertainment that was released just this past May on Windows, PlayStation 4, and the Xbox One. You guys are both playing on Xbox. Q, do you have it on PC as well?
I may, depending on if some friends pick it up on PC. So that's definitely an option. I have a couple of friends that are a little bit hesitant about consoles. But until they commit to it, yeah, I'm on Xbox until they say that they're going to grab it on PC.
And Mo, you've considered it on PC as well, I believe, right?
I have. I'm also looking to pick it up on PS4 so I can play with Kyle.
Nice. Okay. And then just for the record, I am playing on PC, so you'll have a little bit of varied perspective. Kyle, unfortunately, wasn't able to join in, and we could have had the trifecta, but you get to settle for the duo instead. But be that as it may, we will.
Addition by subtraction. Just kidding,
Yes.
Kyle. Just kidding, man.
So, okay, let's start off. You know, it's I don't know. I don't even know where to begin because this game is for me. I love this game. I'm just gonna come out and say it now. I mean, I love this game. I have fun playing this game, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect to get it on day one, and I remember I think I had access to one of the beta stages, or maybe it was even an alpha, and I didn't play it, and then they had like another big open beta right before launch. I was like, okay. I might as well. I'll check this out, and then I'm glad I did because I like totally fell in love with the game after that. And I think for me, what sets this apart, because I mean, you're going to see a lot of comparisons with this game directly to like Team Fortress 2 is what people say. Well, Team Fortress 2 already did this, and I mean, yes, technically Team Fortress is an arena type shooter, focused on team play, focused on objectives with some style to it. But I feel like what Overwatch and what Blizzard has really shined with like on all of their products is that they give. I mean, you're playing a first-person shooter, which typically you're not going to feel. I mean, you're going to feel connected to what you're playing as, but you're not going to see a lot of character from that. But I feel like this game just oozes style and character from what they've designed from this cast that they have inside the game. I feel like they're balanced, varied, and I feel like I know a little bit about these people just from playing the game. Not even talking about what Blizzard had created with their animated shorts and everything leading up to the release, but I feel like, I mean, that for me, that's what initially just hooked me on this thing. I love the characters, and I love how they're presented inside the game.
Yeah, so this game and I had an interesting history because when it was first announced back in the day, I think originally it was announced as just a PC title. I think when Blizzard first mentioned that, they were like, oh, it's just going to come to PC, and I was like really bummed out. I'm like, oh man, this game looks really cool. Yeah. At that point, all we had was the character artwork, and I thought the characters looked amazing. I was like, oh man, like these. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes for me to buy a game. Like if the artwork and the design is like appealing enough, I'll be like, you know what, like even if the gameplay's not amazing, I just want to play these characters. You know, I want to know what these characters are about. But for a while, I was really, this is pre-launch, I was really hyping Battleborn because I thought at first Battleborn was going to be a much better game. I had a lot of faith in Gearbox and based on their work with Borderlands, and I was like, oh man, I don't see Battleborn being not great. Battleborn was presented at not this E3 but last E3, so 2015, and then it came up I think at Gamescom, and I started like losing some of that hype. I was like, I don't know if this game's gonna be that good. And it came out, and I honestly rented it from Redbox, and I played it, and I was like, I'm not gonna buy this. I'm not gonna buy this. And then that game, my disappointment with Battleborn was such that I was really worried about Overwatch. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna get Overwatch because I don't want to be disappointed again. It's like a really bad relationship breakup, and you're like, what is love anyway? You know? And I got really deep.
You don't hurt
I knew
me.
that was coming up. I knew that was coming up.
That was sung by the entire cast of Battleborn. That wasn't me.
But then I'll cut my story short. Doom comes out. I play it. I'm not disappointed, but it doesn't click with me. Basically the problem with Doom was like no one else bought it. None of my friends bought it. So, yeah, I know, Mo, but I never seen you play it, so don't lie.
She's on that bad boy.
I never seen you play Doom in my life, and I check all the time too.
I have cheats right now for that game.
Okay. Anyway, and then basically I got Overwatch because I had nothing else to play. Okay. Basically, like the only game that I go back to again is Halo 5, but I play that with my group of friends, and I don't really play that by myself unless like I have nothing else to do. And there was no game that I wanted to play, so I picked up Overwatch. I started playing it, and I fell in love with it. And then right after it launched, I went to Washington, D.C. for 2 weeks. I didn't have my Xbox, and the only thing I wanted to do when I got back was play Halo 5 and Overwatch. So I actually craved the game, and that's my history to how I came to play Overwatch.
I pre-ordered the Clutch Edition. Picked it up at midnight.
And you also committed your firstborn to Blizzard?
I did. Put it in. And for me, so I'm a big person with stats. I coach football, as you guys know, and you have to know what you're doing. You have to make lists, and you have to have plans. And so when we were talking about this, I make lists all the time. And so I was looking at my level design top 5 games. Overwatch is number 2.
Wow.
As far as the world. Because if you've ever played, number 1 is Rainbow Six Siege, which I won't get into, but if you ever played it, you understand why it's number 1. Shooter play, it's number 2. Halo 5 is the only one that beats it. In my book. Multiplayer modes, it's number 4. With, Halo 5, Black Ops 3, and Destiny above it. And then for characters...
you write an article later this week where you rank out all these categories? Because I'm really interested to know what these categories, what makes up... I want to see what else is ranked in these categories. I would love to.
Yeah, I do this all the time just for fun, but
sweet.
I don't want to annoy people. But for characters, it's number 1 overall.
Wow.
The the characters, and it's these mini micro interactions where I start a match as Reaper because I'm trying to get his achievement, and somebody else starts one as Black Widow, and we're running towards the target, and Reaper says to Black Widow, "We got this," or something, and Black Widow goes, "I hope it's not like it was in the museum." I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's an awesome moment that the writers put in from the awesome videos they had.
Yeah.
The only thing that this thing's missing, and I'll say it, to start this conversation, I need a campaign by these characters to dive into them more. They're this off the top. They're this amazing and great. And we barely got into it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my beginning, my love for Overwatch.
Can we transition into talking about the campaign, why?
Yeah, I think that's a big topic that you'll see some critiquing on. Is there's school of thought. There's same thing we saw with Titanfall. Is the multiplayer enough to stand up this game?
Yeah. Mo, you and I can bounce off, and obviously Jason too. I'm not gonna cut you off, but I know Mo feels strongly about this, so that's why. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big believer in campaigns. I think even the most even Call of Duty demands a campaign, and the day that Call of Duty no longer has a campaign, the game should be $45 or $50 and not 60. You know, I feel like there's an emotional significance to campaign mode. It makes you feel emotionally attached to the game to some extent. Like some of the most amazing gaming experiences I've had was with some amazing campaign, like either Mass Effect or Halo or Dragon Age, where like I really felt emotionally invested in what I was doing as a player, right, as a character in the game. So I will always be an advocate for campaigns. A lot of people, a lot of reviewers, a lot of other, those websites out there that are not as good as we are, gave this game a 10 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10. And they were criticized because they're like, how can you give a game without a campaign a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10? And I'm like, okay, that's a fair point. But honestly, the campaigns that we gotten from other shooters lately, such as Call of Duty, and I'll throw in there, Battlefield, and you know what? I'm the most diehard Halo fan in PSVG, and that's right, Nathan. I'm the most diehard Halo fan in PSVG, and I think Halo 5 campaign was honestly like not that good, and I feel like we demand campaigns from games, but yet we don't hold them to the standard that we should hold them to when we're ranking those games or when we're rating those games. Because at the end of the day, we know that players are gonna put like 1% of the time into the campaign and 99% of the time into the multiplayer. Like I know people who play Halo and Call of Duty who they've never even touched the campaign because they don't care.
That's me.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? That's fine. You don't have to play the campaign. That's your type of gameplay. Great. You're spending money on it. That's how you want to play it. That's perfectly fine with me. So does this game need a campaign? I'm gonna say no because honestly, I played for an hour and a half today, and that hour flew by in an instant because I was having so much fun in each match playing as my favorite characters that I feel like a campaign, if anything, I would be afraid a campaign would take away developing time from the quality multiplayer that we have and invest it in something that people want, but honestly, people are not really going to play after, maybe the first couple of weeks they have the game. So that's my thought on the campaign. It doesn't need a campaign. If the multiplayer is good enough, that's what people play anyway. Don't overcharge for the game, but also don't make a campaign just because people demand it, even when we know people are not really going to play it. That's it.
I don't think I wish they had a campaign. I don't think it needs a campaign.
Okay, that's fair.
What I need is more than three modes. Like right now, Q up top of your head. How many modes are there in Halo? Halo 5.
Like 12.
Yeah. Like right now, off the top of your head, you're like, I could probably name off 12. And they're about to add a huge one on June 29th.
You could say Halo has too many modes. I mean, some people say that.
This one has 3, and a rotating 5 maps, 6 maps, and I'm like, that's my issue is that I need more from this game. Like you gave me, I bought all the pop figures, I have the collector's edition, I have the sweet statue, I'm all in. I've watched every video. I have them all saved on my phone. I have them saved on my Surface. I mean, I love this stuff. I love the world.
Have you read the graphic novels?
I have not. I don't know if there is one.
Yes, there is. But
if there is, then that's something I'll buy.
I'll hook you up, man. I'll hook you up.
Anyway, but we have 3 modes, man. 3. You know what I mean? Now, the reason I'm not mad about the 10 out of 10 or the 9 out of 10 that other sites give it, the reason I fully support it is because there's no other game that does multiplayer in all of those areas you would rate it. Level design, the shooter gameplay, the characters, the way it's set up. No one does it as perfect as they do across the board. You know what I mean? Halo's characters, oh cool, you get to play random Spartan number 5. Cool.
I'm sorry, Mo, but my Spartan, his name is Loborican. Awesome. He has a 1.35 kill death ratio. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's cute. That's nice. But what I'm pointing out is like every one of these characters, like I'm invested in Diva. Like every time I earn gold and marks, I'm unlocking her stuff because I love that character. I love the fact that she's a tank. I love some of the like quirky stuff and funny stuff she says. And let's be honest, she basically looks like my wife, and that's why I got so behind it. Brown hair, short girl. That's my boo. So that's who I play as. I love all of this, but I have 3 modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like, I have ADD. That's why I work so well as a football coach, is because I'll look at film that's changing constantly, and my mind says, you have me play the same mode over and over and over again. I'm going to give you maybe 30 minutes, and I'm like, oh, time to go play something else. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only thing that I'm missing. Do they have to have a campaign? No, because it's Blizzard, and they're only going to give you something that's going to be perfect in their eyes. They're not going to give you mediocre work. And so if they couldn't do a campaign that met their standards, then they're not going to do it. But I need more maps. I need more game modes. Like, that's where my issue is that someone who does love the game, has had so much fun playing, you got to give me a little more. I spent $200 for 3 modes. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm trying to say.
Now, there's
Jason,
not.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was actually going to, before, I wanted you to hear what you said, but I wanted to ask you a question so you could answer it. In Heroes of the Storm, first question, how many maps are there, and how many modes are there? And after you answer those, go ahead and tell us the rest of what you think.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, I am a little out of my Heroes of the Storm logic, but let's see here. Heroes of the Storm maps. Let's see.
Are you looking them up?
I have to look them up because
that's a good point. That kind of gets at what I was gonna get at based on how you answered that. Mm-hmm.
So there's 11 now. They didn't launch with that many. I mean, they've added some as they went, but there are currently 11 maps. I mean, every round is essentially the same. You're trying to destroy, the opposing team's base, but each map has a different, like, with the way with Heroes has designed their MOBA, each map has certain objectives on the map that will help your team or hurt the other team. So each map has a different one. Like, for example, there's one that's called Blackheart's Bay, and you have to get gold doubloons. And when you get so many, you can pay this pirate, and then this ghost pirate, and he shoots cannonballs at the opposing team's base.
That's pretty sweet.
Or another one, there's these 2 shrines that appear. One's at the very top of the map, one's at the very bottom. And then if you capture both, then there's this dragon shrine at the middle of the map is available, and then when you capture that, whoever captured it spawns as this giant dragon boss, and you just terrorize through the map until you die or the timer runs out. So they're all different variations on the same, overall objective.
And you feel like, because I feel like at the end of the day, this game reminds me, it's a Blizzard game just like Heroes of the Storm, right? And I feel like at the end of the day, it's much like Heroes of the Storm, you had to look up how many maps there were. And you know what, maybe it's because you don't, maybe you specifically don't pay attention to that. But to me, it's one of those things where, like, I want more objectives. Don't get me wrong. I want more game types. I want more different playlists, right? I want more maps. Don't get me wrong. I will never say I don't need those things. But I get so invested in the actual gameplay that I honestly don't know how many maps there are in Overwatch. Mo, you said 5 or 6.
That's my guess.
But I honestly don't know, because at the end of the day, my brain doesn't care.
Now, there's no set rotation, right? Is it just random every time?
I think
this is random, right?
I think the reason that it's set up the way it is, and this is just me spitballing from how I've seen Blizzard operate since I used to play StarCraft and StarCraft 2 a lot. I think the way they've set it up, their goal is for you not to have lag. Like, has anybody ever experienced lag issues in a game playing
I had
so far?
one time that I had an issue.
How many matches have you probably played?
I have no idea. A lot.
Can we say over 100 matches?
Oh yeah, because
I can easily say 200
I'm almost level
matches.
40. So
okay, so I can say so well over 100, and you've had one where you remember. I think what their algorithm is, and whatever they've done, is they're making that server perfect. Like, as perfect as it can be. We're not experiencing that issue, but that's why we are not seeing the gameplay we're used to. You know what I mean? That's just me tossing that out there. But I think that's why they don't have as many maps, why they don't have as many set pieces, because again, they really want to make it perfect.
Right. And before we move forward, I'll just give my thoughts on what we were talking. And I saw, like, especially on my Twitter feed, I saw people that talking about how there's no campaign, there's not enough game modes, and I wasn't PC gaming until I was 18, 17, 18 is when I got my first kind of computer. So right around 2002. So I missed out on like some of the earlier stuff, but I mean, I very much was still playing during the, some of the arena shooters or, multiplayer only stuff. And so for me, like, that's where the content is. The content experience is just the experience of the multiplayer and the matches and what you get from playing against other people. Like, probably still to this day, my most all-time played game in terms of hours across the board is Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, a free variation of Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I played the crap out of that thing, and it was a team. And I think that's why I like this game so much, because it was objective based. You had classes, and it was team focused, and you had escort mission, escort type variant and things like that. And I think that's why Overwatch appeals to me as well, because it's kind of a callback to that. Mm-hmm. And I think the key to mention too is you talked about Blizzard and stuff they've done. This is their first. They've never made an FPS before, so this is like a drastic change in their back library of what they've done. And so, I mean, from a development standpoint for them, it's probably a little scary, a little bit of uncharted territory, but then they come out and just hit a home run like this. And it's not until I get back into it that it comes full circle again, because I've been, I played Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft. I played Diablo 1, 2, and 3. I've played, the StarCraft. I've played all these Blizzard games, and then I've gone away from it for a while, and I've dabbled in Heroes of the Storm. But then when you come back into something like this, it's just like Blizzard has a way of just putting this whole package together that between gameplay, lore, and it just creates an overall experience that it's probably one of the top experiences that you can get, and that really sells it. But I think what we're going to see now is really, I think I've heard, we've seen some nerfs, and we're talking about some buffs that they're doing to the cast, but now I think there's some rumblings of, there's a new character in development. We're going to get some new maps, and I think that's going to be what's really going to help the longevity of this game is creating those new maps. And I think as we get new maps and things like that, we'll see some new game modes evolve, or maybe we'll see, maybe a map that only featured one game mode prior. We might see another game mode added to that map in the rotation. I hate just to see like a Splatoon situation where you have, limited maps and you're getting a lot of redundancy, because that creates burnout. So I think that's one thing that we won't see with Blizzard. And kind of what talking about the campaign side of things again, I think they've created this world that it's going to be really easy to add something like that to it if they get to that point where they've got this really interesting environment, this storyline that's kind of ongoing. Like, look what they've done with. I'm very much out of touch with StarCraft 2, but they had their first campaign that they launched the game. Then they had a first expansion. They had another expansion, but now they've got like this whole another thing coming up with Nova, who's a specific character in that storyline. Right. And it's like it's like a cooperative. I'm not too familiar, but it's a totally different gameplay experience than just the standard, tactical, real-time strategy that we have. So I totally, stealing from that, I totally could see Blizzard building this out further down the road as they add new content. I'm not sure if we're talking like an expansion or something like that, but I mean, the one thing to kind of make a note of is when this game was originally conceived, I think they had the idea that this was going to be a free-to-play game, and they released the characters as additional content to purchase. Instead, they decided, this game, because one of the main focus of the game is being able to pick a hero and then to switch on the fly as you needed to throughout the match, I should say. And that was a big fundamental issue, is if all the heroes weren't available to the player, that really takes away from the experience. I do want to say, what are your guys' thoughts on the progression, though? Because that's what we see as a driving force in, your Call of Duties. You got to get to that next level because you're going to unlock this gear. I'll be able to buy this and I'll buy that. Now with Overwatch, you got to grind to a level, and then all you get is a loot box or a loot crate, and there's a 50-50 chance that, well, I don't know, not even a 50-50, obviously. Let's face it, most of the time you're going to get a bunch of sound clips, and a
Yeah.
skin maybe for a character you don't even want to ever play.
Mo, you want to tackle this one first?
Yeah, I love this is probably my favorite progression system. That's why I still love the game and support it so much. Everybody's on a level playing field. Your skin doesn't give you +2 damage, it doesn't make you faster, it doesn't make you better. I love that. My biggest problem with Call of Duty ever since Black Ops 1, where you got to buy gear and all that stuff, was when you're playing other people, that level 30 dude has better guns that are doing more damage, that have faster fire rates than that level 2. And even if you're a better player at level 2, you're gonna get blapped up. You're gonna lose. And so that would aggravate me because I'm normally a 1.5 KD guy. Maybe I'm a little lower sometimes. Sometimes I'm up in the 2s. That's where I'm pretty consistent. I'm gonna kill 2 people. I'm gonna die once. I'm gonna kill 2 people. I'm gonna die once. That's basically where I've always lived. And I would notice, like, with Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 especially, once I got to the prestige mode, I'm no longer a 1.5. I'm in the 2s. I'm in the 3s. I played Black Ops 3 for a good 2 months instead of a 3, because once you got those guns and you've got those perks, you can lay waste to people who don't have them, because you can do stuff they can't do. So I love the fact that in this game, way to go. This is perfect, because it's always, I know what I'm going to get out of D.Va every time, and I know what I'm going to get out of another person D.Va every time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to sit there and going, ooh, what armor do they have? Ooh, what gun is that? Ooh, you don't got to worry about that crap. So I love it. Hats off to Blizzard for making it competitive.
That's the point too. I see. People I will play with online sometimes too, is they'll talk about the levels. I'm like, the levels don't mean anything. They're like, oh, this guy's a level 60. I'm like, so what? I guarantee there's probably someone that's like a level 10 or 15 that could easily be as good or better than that, because all that level.
Loborican, duh.
Exactly.
Level 12. Yeah.
All that level's attached to is, how much time they've actually put into playing the game. Right. I mean, yes, you're going to have maybe a little more map awareness or familiarity with the game, but I mean, in terms of skill, that number is irrelevant.
I think I agree with Mo a lot about this. I haven't played a Call of Duty since Advanced Warfare, and I played the multiplayer like an hour, and then I never played it again. And I think one of the reasons why I like Overwatch and I like even Halo 5 and Halo for the most part is that at the end of the day, your rank is an expression of your loyalty to the game, your level. Like the level 60 guy, well, I mean, if anything, he gets praised for being devoted to the game, right? Being a devout player. Like, congrats, you're a fan. You're a fanboy, or you love it. Great. Halo has this secondary ranking system, which is called the CSR. Oh, I think that's what it's called. Basically, it resets every month and a half. For that month and a half that you play Halo 5, you will rank in each playlist. You have a different rank per playlist depending on wins and losses and your performance. And that resets every I think 6 to 8 weeks, which means that if you're amazing in February, but then you start sucking in September, you're gonna drop in your playlist ranking. And I think that's cool because it forces you to come back and defend your rank. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm not just a one-time, whatever. I'm actually good all the time. And what I like, but there's no other benefit to being good. You're good because you are, and so it's almost you play the game because you love it, not because it rewards you with candy. And something I like about Overwatch is, at the end of the day, I'm rewarded by the experience. I'm rewarded by the game. And yeah, the loot boxes suck. Would I love to see better stuff come out of there? Yes, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Once again, just like the maps and just like the game type, I'm never going to turn away. I'm never going to say we don't need more stuff. No, I would love more stuff. I would love to I would love the skins, the extra skins that you get. I would love for those to be more often and for there to be more of them. I want to see more variety in what people look like. I would love that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give a game a neg because the free stuff that I get from it is not good enough. It's like, oh, I see that you brought me chips and salsa. Well, it wasn't enough chips and salsa, so shame on you, sir. It's like...
Where's the guac?
Where's the guac? It's like, well, $2 extra. Well, shame on you. And you take all the free stuff away. I don't want the chips. I don't even want the chips and salsa. It's like, no, I'm not gonna train away the chips and salsa just because I want it also guac. It's like, and I think I completely get it. I want more loot boxes. I want to be rewarded better every time I hit a level. Honestly, I have the reason why I haven't spent more time leveling up is because I don't see an incentive to leveling up, and I realized that pretty early on. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't take away from the fact that every time I play, I have an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So
that level up is really just my session extension. I will I'll finish a match. I'm like, okay, I've been playing long enough, and I'm like, oh, there's like 3 ticks until I get that level up. Got to do another round, you know.
Right. No, I completely agree. That's actually a motivator for another round sometimes. Like, well, I'm almost level 11. Okay, why not? Let's play a couple more matches, you know.
And since we did touch on it, I guess we should actually just explain in detail the game modes. There are presently we got technically four game modes, a variation of 3. So there's the escort mode where your team has to. I'm going to call it a tram. It's some type of vehicle, for lack of a better phrase, anyway. That's in the map, and your team has to gain control of it and then escort it from that point through a series of checkpoints until the end point of the game before time is up. Then there's assault, where there's one team's attacking and one team's defending, and there's you're both attacking and
escort the payload.
Yeah, payload. There you go.
Payload, there we go.
Assault mode is where one team has let's say at your base there's a control point, and then the other team is attacking to take control of it. You have to try to prevent that. That's assault. There's a hybrid, which is actually a mashup of assault. It starts with assault, and once they take control at that point, turns into an escort with the payload. And then last we have control, in which that is the control point spawns, and both teams are fighting for control of that. First team that gets 100% control wins that. And oddly enough, there are 3 maps for each of those modes, so there are actually 12 maps. And I read that, I was like, oh, wow.
Now, they're not saying it's the same 3 maps for each mode.
Right, there's 3 unique maps for each mode.
Yeah, I had noticed that the maps it might be the same setting.
Yeah,
same
map,
just different part of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, I can't name 12 different maps.
Yeah.
You got the Hollywood,
yep.
You got the Canyon, and you got the Temple. And then there's the... That's all I got.
Yeah.
You know what was a game where I could name all the maps? You know what's a game that I could name all the maps? It was Destiny.
2014?
It was, Destiny and Just Dance 2014 and 2015. Okay. Those maps were amazing. The sandbox in Just Dance, wow. Ooh, like, my hips have never felt like that in my life. But and you know what? I was thinking the other day, why do I remember the Destiny maps? Oh, because I remember how many of those maps I hated. It's like it's like oh my god, this map sucks. What's the name of it? Oh, it's the moon map, First Light. Great, thank you Destiny for creating First Light. It's like I remember the maps when I have a reason to remember them to call them out later. It's like I'll tell you once again, I play Halo 5 4 to 5 times a week. I probably drop 20 hours a week on Halo 5. I'm on a shame, no shame. I can't name half the maps because it's not like something that my brain wastes time and energy memorizing. Mm-hmm. Because for me, Halo 5 is about the strategy and the game and the tactics and the playing. It's not about how much I dislike something. So it's funny. I was thinking why do I remember the Destiny maps? Is because I hate so many of them.
Right.
And this is coming from a guy who spent 1,000 hours on Destiny, and the ones that I remember are the ones that I was like, oh my god, I hated First Light so much. I wanted that map I wanted the code for that map to corrupt itself to the ground. It's like, yeah, man.
I think you're right that I think there might be 12 maps, because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think that temple one has 2 different ways to attack it, but isn't there's an Egyptian temple and then
Yeah, I'm looking at a list here. This is from Overwatch, the Overwatch wiki on Gamepedia. So they have under Escort, they have Watchpoint Gibraltar, Dorado and
Okay.
Route 66.
Route 66, that canyon one, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
And
That's
then
a payload, Matt. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Assault has Hanamura.
Yeah.
Temple
That's
of Anubis,
the one I'm thinking about.
And then Volskaya Industries, which has the worst final assault point ever. Hybrid, we have Kings Row, Numbani, and Hollywood. And then Control has Lijiang Tower, Nepal, and Ilios.
Okay. So that's 11?
12.
I thought you said one of them twice. The Hermano one.
There's Hanamura and Numbani. I might have.
There's 12 individual maps. Mm-hmm.
So I think what we need to see, gosh, that blows my mind. Yeah, I just have some variation, maybe of the modes. And going back to, we talked about the price and everything. On console, you guys only have, besides the Collector's Edition, you only have just the Origins Edition is your only option, correct?
That is correct.
And does you guys, that comes with all the other Blizzard tie-in products as well? Do you get those to your account, or?
I don't know what those are.
On PC.
We get them. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, go ahead.
We get them. We just have to. We don't get them for our console version. We get them for the PC version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on PC we have, which I'm wonder why this isn't available for console. Is if you want to go digital, on PC there's a digital download, just a basic version at $40, and it's just the game. And I was like, well, deal. That's a easy justification to jump on. While the Origins Edition, you get that base game, but then we get 5 hero skins. You get Tracer for Heroes of the Storm. You get a baby Winston pet in World of Warcraft. You get Hearthstone cards. You get a character pack for Diablo 3. You get Mercy's Wings, and then you get StarCraft 2 character portraits of Overwatch characters. So if you're heavily invested in the Blizzard ecosystem, that's great. But I think this is always, I guess, confusing to me why console it was only, you only offered that $60.
They only offered the Origin Edition in store right now.
So I wonder if maybe that has something to do. Well, gosh, because it can't be unless they're not unless I guess I don't know. Is it only available? Is there not a physical PC version? I would think there still is. I don't know. I'm trying to justify why console's forced to pay that $20.
Well, that's been the price of entry for so long. That's where everyone. That's where that line is. It's that line in the sand where, Mom, Dad, we pay $60 for a game. Yeah, it's always been 60. It's been 60 since I was young. But when they start talking 100, that's when Mom and Dad are skirt. Nah, we can't be doing that.
Well, sorry.
Oh no, you're good, brother. That's all I was saying.
This is a topic for another podcast, and maybe even I think I think you guys may have talked about it in the main PSVG podcast. But the cost of a game, $60. There's a lot of people out there saying that games are no longer $60. The length, how expensive it's becoming to develop a game, a 2016 video game. These games are really expensive. So a lot of people are saying, actually, and games don't make money the way movies do. We don't, you don't drop, $15 a ticket to take your, wife and kids to watch a movie and plus popcorn and whatever. You have to buy the actual product itself, to make money from it. So people are saying, actually $60 is not really the price that it actually costs to make it. The game should actually cost more like $80 technically, for companies to actually be making up a lot of the development of the game. So because I believe the games are more expensive than $60, I'm okay paying the $60 for Overwatch because at the end of the day, in the back of my mind, having looked at the research, I know that technically these games should be actually technically more expensive than they are. So that's just the way I see it. Mm-hmm. But if I may drop something really fast, I was thinking the whole talk about adding a campaign to Overwatch, maybe through expansion or DLC. I don't think that's gonna happen. What I could see Blizzard doing down the road is them seeing the desire from the fans for a campaign or for a story mode, and them creating like an Overwatch side game, like Overwatch Adventures or something. I don't know. That's a stupid name, but
something along as they build out the franchise.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you love. We're gonna keep making Overwatch. We're gonna keep supporting it. We're gonna make it a game that comes out every 2 or 3 years. Yet, you want to play the story? You want to know what these characters are about? Great. We have this, other new, not a new IP, but this other series of games where it's actually an adventure. I don't know what it's like, maybe an RPG type or action adventure game where you actually learn the story of what happened. I just don't see them incorporating a story mode into this game when they've already seen that this game on itself is a success without the campaign. Like, if I'm a developer and I know I'm selling the crap out of a game and people are playing it and I haven't even had a campaign, I'm like, why would I spend money on a campaign when it's doing just fine as it is? Now, because Blizzard is awesome and they love the fans, I could see them building a new game that is specifically a campaign or a story mode for the fans to play that specific type of the story of these characters. So,
and I want to bring it up too because we know we touched on it in just the clarification of things coming and so on and so forth. The other playable game modes in the game. So we have Quick Match, which is your standard multiplayer. 6-on-6. Then we have a versus AI option, which is what you can play against, play with friends, bring a party in, and play against AI opponents. There's the practice arena. I'm just going to call it the practice arena, but where you can just play against what basically it's a target shooting. Essentially, you got just target drone robots that you can just play any character, get a feel for them, practice their abilities, practice their ultimates, their mechanics, how that character plays, and then we have what's that last mode called?
Brawl.
Brawl. Thank you. And that basically, it's again that same quick match, but then there's going to be some variant that mixes it all up. Like the one time, I've only played it the one time, and it was just kind of frustrating. You every time you died and spawned in, you got assigned a random hero. So when my team had like 4 mercies,
oh my god,
wasn't so much fun because it's hard to push a payload when you have no firepower. So, but there's some other crazier things that'll happen too with how it does things. It might limit, only defensive heroes or only tanks or, so on and so forth. There is a competitive mode coming. I think what we're seeing in July, I think, is one that's
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
It is available on the test realm right now that you can play, but, more geared to the more of your competitive side of things, players that you would hope have a better understanding of the mechanics of team play, so you're not going to be pushing the payload by yourself while your team is deathmatching around back at spawn or something like that. There will be a ranking system for that. I think harsher penalties for leaving a game, kind of what you see in the typical competitive loadouts and other shooters.
I had a question for you guys. Well, a couple questions because I don't want to get a little bit too above. What's the word? High-minded. I don't know if they even said an expression. But I wanted to come back a little bit down to the basics of the game. Like, what has been your experience this game as individual players? Like, do you feel there are a couple questions that I would love to hear what you guys have to say about. Do you play this game with friends? If you do you think this is a game that you would enjoy just as much, less, or more if you played by yourself? Do you think it's a game that you can only play with other people, that you can't enjoy by yourself? And alongside that question, when you play by yourself but with randoms, like match made with people, random other players, what has that experience been with other players? Do you feel like cooperation is easy? Do you feel like cooperation doesn't really happen? I mean, just what has been your general experience down in the weeds of the game? Down in the trenches.
I've had both. I play games one of two ways: either for achievements because I'm competing in that gamer score, or in competition to win. And so when I'm in a match and I realize, okay, I'm with randoms who do not care about winning, then I'm going to start working on achievements because I'm not going to care about winning because this is not a game where one person can win it for you. If you do not have a team who's playing to win, it's almost impossible in this game. So when I've got 4 people all playing as the same character, and I'm like, oh, okay, we don't have a healer. I'll jump in as a healer, but my goal is to get that achievement for her. Not so.
Do you feel like so my experience playing with randoms has been the following. Yeah, there's been a couple times when you notice when people are like out for themselves and they only care about that kill death ratio, and they're like just getting kills and they don't care about the objective. But my experience, like 9 out of 10 times, has been most people actually really want to play as a team and they really want to win. Like, I don't think I've ever had a situation where, well, I mean, I've had it, but I feel like most of the time it's like actually like people cooperate really well. And you know how it gives you on the screen, it gives you like what's the weakness of your team. It's like, oh, you don't have a tank or you don't have a support. What I've noticed is that most of the time people are willing to fill in those gaps in their team. Do I talk to randoms? I don't, honestly. Most of the time that I'm playing, I either have a party chat with other friends or I'm just not talking to anybody. If I'm just hanging out by myself, I just don't really talk to the other players that are randoms. However, I feel like even when I'm not talking to them, my experience has been very positive in that people very much know. They learn quickly that if you're in it for just to get kills, it's not really that much fun if you're going to end up getting your butt kicked at the end of the game. So yeah, I feel my experience has been really positive. I don't know if that's like the Blizzard community being positive, or I don't know if that's just like, just the people that I've been matchmade with, which has been a really, really awesome experience with people that actually want to play the objective and not just look out for themselves. So.
Yeah, I think I'd agree too. I've seen kind of both sides of things. I mean, I have a pretty good pool of people to pull from. That if I'm looking to, I can usually at least get into the game with at least one other person. But sometimes, I just want to jump in and out, so I will play. I will just play solo. And I will totally see that. You'll see I've had teams where when it's solo and uncoordinated, that everyone still understands their roles, understands the map, and we work well together. But I've had instances too where I feel like I'm the healer and I'm trying to push the payload because my tanks are just like are afraid to push in or won't challenge for objectives and stuff like that. And that gets frustrating because then it's like, okay, all these same people have stayed in this game. Do I want to get steamrolled again on another map?
Right.
But I mean, you're going to have that. I've not joined the public voice chat channels on PC at all, so I have no idea how toxic that gets. I'm surprised actually how well just the chat has actually been on PC. Usually, especially with shooters, you get a lot of imbeciles out there and just a lot of hate, a lot of toxic activity. And so far, it's been pretty good. I haven't seen too much of that. Luckily, I think you can mute and avoid just pretty easily. But I'm surprised.
I wonder. You mentioned how like the talk has not been as toxic as other games. And I wonder if it has to do with the fact that the game forces you to play as a team. But think about a game like Call of Duty. Or, Jason, I don't know if you experienced Halo because I know you're not on Xbox.
Yep, I've back in the old days.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think Halo is better than Call of Duty when it comes to the community. But still, like, you get your rotten apples, man. You get the guy who just like is telling everybody to go F themselves and stuff like that, and starts talking about people's moms and it's like, okay, dude, like, and you mute that guy within like a second. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I've never, at the few times that I joined random the team chat, I've never had that experience in Overwatch and I wonder if it's almost like a psychological thing where because you need other people to win, you don't want to make those people mad.
Yeah, right.
Because the game doesn't really. It's not that satisfying to get the most kills and then lose. I think in Overwatch specifically, it doesn't feel that great. Like, I've gotten amazing kills and then lose, and I'm like, man, we lost. Like, that was pointless. It's like, what was the point of 30 kills and 2 deaths if we got our butts kicked, Yeah. But I feel like because the game doesn't really reward you for getting, like, oh, great KD, I feel like it almost makes you kind of, like, tone down your own anger and your own wrath because you need your team to do well. So it's like, okay, I need these guys to do well. Probably not going to get them to do that by cursing them out, right? So, and I wondered if the nature of the game itself is kind of like tones down a little bit that trash talking that happens in other shooters or competitive types. I wonder if that's part of it.
Yeah. I think I'd agree with that too because it's not like It's not like Call of Duty where your contribution to the team is to get more kills than the guy across from you. Essentially, you have more of a role to play and a more of a team specific.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed playing those roles. Actually, I've never been a role player, but this is one game when I'm like, you know what, I'll be the tank. And I've actually endorsed the support characters a lot. I love Zenyatta. Zenyatta has been amazing to me.
Awesome.
Like I love that character so much. I never thought I would enjoy a support character so much. And when I don't get to play Zenyatta, I get kind of sad. So I'm like, oh man. When someone jumps on Zenyatta or Mercy, I'm like, and then it says no more support characters needed. I'm like, oh man, I guess I'll play as Soldier 76 or Reaper. I guess I'll get 40 kills. Oh well, it's like
that has been the one side of things I haven't seen too much, because I feel like you said, Q, you're kind of like, I'll kind of go with whatever my class needs and what my team needs. Now that's how I'll play too. I feel like I end up playing tank or support most of the time because people want to just be the attackers or Hanzo and just try to get kills. Yeah. But that's my most frustrating thing is like when we'll have like 3 tanks for some reason, or we'll have no support, and it's like.
It's like, come on, right. I wonder if that's to do with being like an older. I mean, I know I'm in my later 20s now, so I feel like I'm an older gamer now, and I wonder if that has to do with like maturity. It's like, well, I guess I'll be responsible and be the support character. It's like I'm no longer. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go and be the cowboy guy and just kill everybody. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll be Zenyatta. Oh man. That's sad. It's sad, but I'm glad I put the team's well-being above my own pleasure of getting the most kills or something like that. And one question that I wanted to touch before we move on is, so we mentioned experience playing by yourself and playing with friends. To be honest, 99% of my Overwatch experience has been playing by myself because I just, when I'm online, I haven't had a lot of people also play Overwatch at the same time. A lot of my friends. Do you feel like if we have listeners out there who haven't bought this game, what would your judgment be on, like, is this a game that, look, if I don't have friends playing it, am I going to enjoy it? Is this a game that does it lose value if you play by yourself? What do you guys think?
I've preferred playing by myself only because then the team's gonna dictate what I'm doing. They're gonna pick if I'm gonna play defensively. If I'm gonna be a tank, I can be a tank because they need me to be a tank. If they need me to be a healer, I'll be a healer. I like that they make that decision. You know what I mean? Because if you're playing with friends, I know Brian really wants to be the Reaper, so I know I have to be one of these. You know what I mean?
I've fallen into that too, or I've seen there's like certain people that only play certain classes. It's like, guess I'm gonna be Mercy for the 8th game in a row.
Yeah, and that's what I enjoy is when I'm playing by myself. It's whatever the match needs. That's what I play as, and I'm cool with it. Mm-hmm. And then depending on if it's competitive, if it's, hey, we're doing a great job, we're gonna win this, let's do it. If it's, you guys aren't doing your jobs, the tank is standing in the corner trying to get kills from a long shot, okay, then I need to just work on the achievement for whatever healer I don't have it for. And that's how I've played. Because I'm not going to throw a match. But if your team's not going to try, then I am going to be out for myself and trying to get the achievement for that character. So.
Yeah, I think, I kind of feel this. I feel like you can get a good experience out of this if you didn't have, other people to play with. And I think that because of the nature of this game, but if you had enough good experience, like if you had a good experience playing with certain people, I feel like that lends itself to that social aspect where, hey, I played with this guy was really fun to play with, really knew his class. I want to add him to my list and I want to play with this person again. I feel like this type of game kind of lends that organically develop a little more easier than another game type.
Yeah, I've gotten 2 or 3 friend requests, just people like, hey, you were awesome as the tank. I'd love to play with you some more. I'm like,
don't lie, Mo. Don't. Come on, man. Dude, this is. We're trying to be honest here. Come on, bro.
You played with me. You've experienced the camaraderie that is Coach Mo, And especially in Destiny, I'm there for you guys.
If you're
you want me to push hard points, I push for you, so that you guys can do your sniper rifle-y, so you guys can get all funky. I do what the team needs, man.
You make me sound so white collar in video games.
You are.
Oh wow!
I've played with you before.
We're gonna have an off chat after Mo and I get to defend my honor. It's like, dude, I'm a blue collar man. I'm a grinder. Give me the shotgun. I'll jump into trenches and I'll take them all out, baby. Come on.
I didn't say you weren't gonna do that. What I said is, as someone who's played with you, okay. you play however the map sees fit. And so sometimes when you're like, hey, I need to pull out this sniper rifle and black people up from far, Mo, you need to go capture hard points. I got you, man.
All right.
A, B, or C for you.
What you're trying to say is that you respect my leadership in this.
I sure do.
Okay. I'll take it.
But as you play with me, you need to understand, I do what's best for the team.
I respect. Respect admits, recognizes respect. You know.
A to the man.
There you go.
One thing that I don't know, at some point if we want to like say what's our overall like ranking or whatever is of this game, and I think we definitely also need to touch on what is our favorite character.
Okay. Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. Mo had a good end.
Your favorite character, not your creepy video game crush, Mo. Come on.
She looks like my wife.
All right, fair enough. Oh man,
I got to go with Reinhardt.
Okay.
Love swinging the hammer.
Yeah. So I want everybody to like say, well, why? What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like I like that he's he's a tank, but I like being able to. He has the shield ability, and I like just soaking up damage for my assault players just to target behind me. But the best thing that I love doing is when you can catch someone unsuspecting, mm-hmm. and you just go for that pin. The pin takedown just feels so good, especially on what's the Dorado, where you're going through the old West town.
Oh yeah, dude.
Lines through, and you got that straight shot. And I love just trying to line one. I mean, usually it's a suicide because you're going to get killed by separating yourself from the team. But I love just lining up from that far back and just going for this crazy pin from halfway across the map and just trying to pull it off. And it's just, and plus he looks sweet. He's got this big, this big rocket powered hammer and this cool armor.
Mm-hmm. I love it when my Reinhardt in my team is like using his shield to cover the entire team behind him, especially in payload or in any other game type. I hate it when he decides, oh, I don't have a team purpose, and when we need him to shield the most, he goes into rocket, MMA, UFC mode, and it's like, great, like we needed you to cover us, and now you're dead. I'll go ahead and say my favorite character is Zenyatta, and I have fallen in love with him in a bro kind of way because I'm not the kind of player who enjoys healer types or support types. Like in Diablo, I was a Crusader and Barbarian. What's the Wizard? No. But I was wrong. It's Crusader and is it a Wizard? Is it a?
Yeah, the Wizard's the one.
Is it the Wizard? Okay. Or like a mage, yeah, something like and the mage is really heavy, heavy attacks, but like from range. And the Crusader is really, obviously like, DPS kind of stuff. I've always played those game types, and when I play Halo, give me the shotgun, it's game over. I mean, I will rock your world. You will remember Loborican for the rest of your life. You'll see me at the top of the post Carnage report. It's like, but Zenyatta is my bro. In Overwatch, I love healing my teammates. I love throwing the Discord orb at the enemy and bringing them down their what's it called? It makes them take more damage per shot.
The Discord orb.
Yeah, I love dropping my super attack, which heals everybody around me in like clutch moments. Like the match is about to end, we're holding the point or we're bouncing the payload. The other enemy starts respawning on top of us. Boom! I go into my super mode, my healing, whatever, Nirvana, and I basically keep my team alive for the last seconds that we need to stay alive to deliver the payload. Like I love And also, his attack is like a little bit underrated. He actually has a pretty decent attack.
Yeah.
A pretty good range on his attack too. Like those chakra knives, whatever they're called. I love it. I take out so many people. I think Zenyatta is a really good offensive character if you realize that your job is not to face people like, go into a fight, like guns blazing, but you need to catch people off guard and hit them with the Discord orb and then take them out from a distance. So yeah, I love Zenyatta, and I probably after him Soldier 76 because as a Halo player, he's Master Chief, after retirement. That's who he is. How about you, Mo?
Mine's Diva.
Yeah, I know, but like, how about like? I know that's what you said, but like game type, like what about Diva do you enjoy as
what I love about Diva is her mech can be used in so many different ways. Probably my favorite moment was we were trying to capture A, and they had, I don't remember who it was, but it was Reaper, Black Widow in that little it's like a little hut. I can't remember what map that is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think
okay.
Yeah, I know.
And so what I did was I jumped up, used her special, but I sent the mech flying into that. And as it hit, it exploded, killing him, and we rushed in, captured it, and it was one of those plays where I was like, that's how this is meant to be used. I just jumped in the air, did my flying dash rocket move, jumped out holding my special, it flies in, blows up, kills everybody. I get 3-4 kills out of it. We run in, we capture, and then we move on to B. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done in a game. Like, how am I able to do this? So
you know how deep? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
And because you had a kill with it, I just get to jump back in the mech. It just respawns it real quick. So
I don't know if you saw, but Diva was inspired by Titanfall. Actually, like when they were building her character, they're like, how do we bring people that love the mech plus the pilot game type of Titanfall into this game? And they if you watch the documentary that Blizzard made about this, I think they did it. I think GameSpot has it on their website. They mentioned Titanfall when they designed Diva, and they were like, and what's funny is that I don't know if you remember Titanfall when it came out, but you know how they have that nuclear explosion where if you exit the Titanfall, it goes nuclear. And like the first 2 weeks, you would do that, and you would just take out like 20 people with one nuclear blast. It's like you would just score like 10 kills in like a second.
Yeah.
But like 6 months later, you do the nuclear ejection, and everyone's like, "Nope!" Like everyone like, out, and everyone's like, "No, everybody go away!"
Yeah.
Go away.
Nerf this? No, nerf you.
You'll be lucky if you get one kill with the nuclear ejection. Now, I feel like Diva's the same way. Like the first week, I got caught in her explosion, and like she would take out like an entire team by herself. And now when she does the explosion thing, everyone's like, no, and everyone runs away. And it's like she takes out maybe 1 or 2 people. But everybody's like now aware that when she goes nuclear, everybody has to peace out because no one wants to get caught on that. Oh, man. I thought it was funny how the way that those two, Titanfall and Diva, are connected and how people adapted to the same weapon that they have. I thought it was pretty cool. Jason, do you have any other questions for us or topics for us, or do?
I don't think so. I think we can just go ahead and give our overall thought on the game, and then I think Mo's question that he had put in chat is a good one to end with too.
Mo, what was you want to drop that question for us?
My question to kind of wrap this up was, when you think of Overwatch, at the end, like when you're processing it, do you feel right? Not should it not? Do you feel right voting this game for Game of the Year, considering it only has the 3 modes right now? Even though it's an awesome game, like when you sit down and you look at Overwatch for what it is right now, do you feel right voting for it for Game of the Year?
I'll go ahead and tackle this one first. I'll tell you that it won't be Game of the Year. Mm-hmm. It won't. Like, I actually pulled up IGN's Game of the Years, and I say IGN because they're like I think they're one of the most balanced sources out there, and people tend to recognize them as balanced. Some people would disagree with that.
Now remember, this would be Game of the Year 2016, not the 2015.
Right. So 2015 was Witcher 3. 2014 was Dragon Age Inquisition. 2013 was The Last of Us. Then Journey, Portal 2, Mass Effect 2, Uncharted 2, Fallout 3. So what do all these games have in common? They're adventure games. Portal was a platformer, but overall you have these action adventure or open world setups, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people in the media, and maybe probably here at in our own crew at PSVG, a lot of people will say, hey, you know what, Overwatch is the game of the year. Look at it's a brand new IP.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I mean, and a brand new IP that gets like a 10 out of 10 from people like IGN is huge. That's huge. But man, it's gonna be hunted down by the lack of a campaign and the. If you ask me, can I give a game of the year to a game that has 3 modes and no campaign? Absolutely, I can. Absolutely, man. Yeah. Heck yes. Absolutely. Make video games great again. Like. Yeah, I'm not gonna settle for the industry standard. I don't care. Like, which game has been the most fun this year for me? Besides, obviously, I mean, for me, Halo 5, which will never stop being fun. Overwatch. Absolutely. This game blew me away. This game was like the oh my god, who's the underdog who came out and delivered a Kamehameha wave in the face of his enemies. It's like you thought I was going for a knockout punch, but then I tricked you with Dragon Ball Z analogy.
You did.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, my thoughts, like, yeah, absolutely. I will not treat this game with bias or prejudice just because it doesn't have what all the other games that were Game of the Years have. So
there you go. I think this is going to be, for me, I think that I would put this on a must play list. I wouldn't quite give it Game of the Year because I just don't think it has. I think for me, a Game of the Year is going to be something that has more kind of an all-encompassing appeal to pull gamers in from a lot of different sides. And I don't think like this game, like I think that the absence of a single player. Not to say that a game can't have a single player, but I mean I think that just the absence of that wouldn't pull enough. Would turn some people off. They're not into just that multiplayer focus. Now, me personally, would it be my own Game of the Year? Absolutely, it could very possibly. But I think if I'm going industry wide, I've probably draw the line there. But I think definitely it's definitely a must play game.
Right.
That's out there.
For when it's all said and done, and the dust clears from this fight for Game of the Year 2016. I feel 100% okay giving the nod to Overwatch. And it's only because, like I just said, when I sit down and make my list, it pops up on a bunch of lists. It's not number one in a couple, but those characters and the great shorts that tie in that world, the way they've started this brand new IP, I feel like it's okay to give it that vote. I feel right. I feel justified in it. And when it first came out and I played that first match, I'm like, oh, this is great. And I was like, wait, this is all there is? This is it? Like, you got 3 modes, a couple maps, 21 characters? I don't know, guys. But then you keep playing, you realize, like, this is built to compete. And once we get that competitive gameplay going in July, for people who are super competitive like myself, it's only going to get more fun. But yeah, no, I feel like there's no reason why it shouldn't be allowed to be in that conversation because it's done so many things really, really well.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
There you have it. I was totally expecting a Madden throwback, and
I was waiting for that too.
Caught me completely off guard.
I can be serious once in a while. I do love Madden, and we all know that, and I love competing in it. But right now, Madden 16 missed in a couple spots. You should be able to run twist splits more effectively. They don't do that yet, but I'm hoping they fix it in 17. But no, I love video games, and I love what Overwatch is doing, and I love what it could do, and I love what Blizzard could bring. So I'm really going to put a lot of hope and faith that they're planning something big and something great with the continuation of this franchise.
Here comes the cavalry, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, man.
I think that's an awesome note to wrap up the Overcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please feel free to check out all the other great and many awesome things we're doing over at PlaySomeVideoGames.com. We've got other review casts like this. We have our weekly podcast. We just had all this E3 coverage that we just put up on the site. We've got a forum, and we've got Coach Mo. We've got Q. I mean, what more could you want in your internet experience?
That's right.
So with that, everyone, go play Overwatch, but more importantly, never stop gaming.
Thank you for listening to Play Some Video Games, the official podcast.
See, I'm so proud of you. It doesn't feel better to do this without pants on.
It does, but like the chair that I sit in, kind of like it doesn't mix well with skin. You know?
No,
It's
see, this is what you do. You put the pants down and then you sit on the pants.
Oh, dang it! My technique is all wrong.
Yeah, it takes practice.
Man.
It takes practice. Like, so you
what
go
have I
in,
been doing, man? What
you
have
take
I been
the pants
doing?
off, you put them on the seat and then you sit down, and it's just you, just natural in your experience, just feeling good. Pants were not meant to be worn, folks.
That's right.